Now it was completely unexpected, but we have received drip marketing for version 2.3's characters before the release of version 2.2, which honestly is great for players that were considering to summon within the first phase, as now you may want to save for the following update, especially when considering the incredible potential both our newly revealed S-rank characters hold, alongside our long-awaited new A-rank character being Minato, which may annoy those that were hoping for him to be an S-rank, but the fact he is going to be a Rupture character does mean he should still be a fantastic character. Though just focusing on the S-rank characters as well as their impact on version 2.2, I'll be going over their kid potential and the team versatility they hold, alongside their overall value, who you may want to prioritize, and if you should skip version 2.2 for Yidhari and Lucia. As always, if you are interested in more ZenlessZoneZero content, would very much appreciate it if you could subscribe and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. But just before we do jump right in, if you are perhaps after some additional monochromes to prepare for some of the upcoming banners, then you might want to check out this sponsor. Lootbar is a reliable and secure top-up platform that allows you to pick up game currency for an even lower price than in-game. Such as with ZenlessZoneZero, you are able to pick up selected items with up to 23% off. So if you are thinking about picking up some polychromes or even simply just renewing your Internet membership, then you may as well pick it up using Lootbar to save some money. All you need to do is head to the website and click on whichever pack you would like to pick up, then fill out your game account UID and server region, choose your preferred payment method, and in a couple of minutes you will receive your polychromes. Also, as usual, the double top-up bonus will be provided even when going through Lootbar, so you aren't missing out. Lastly, as of now, new users are eligible for a 10% off coupon along with a bunch of other coupons for an extra discount. So again, if you are looking for a quick and safer way to pick up discounted game currency than other websites, be sure to check out Lootbar through the link in the description. Kicking this off with the first character expected to release in version 2.3, Lucia surprisingly has been confirmed to be our second premium ether support, which at first may lead to the assumption that she will be competing with AstraYao, though I'm just gonna outright say that isn't exactly going to be the case, since Astra on one hand is a universal support that can synergize with literally any DPS, whereas Lucia on the other hand is without a doubt going to be a dedicated support for Rupture damage dealers. There may be a few similar abilities between both characters, such as providing a certain damage bonus or a crit bonus for allies, but especially since version 2.3 has two Rupture characters consisting of Yidhari and Minato, it quite literally hints at the fact Lucia is going to be a tailored support for Rupture characters. So with that pretty much being the case, it would be fair to expect for Lucia to firstly provide a significant sheer force bonus to allies, and one that will be even greater than Pan Yin-Hu's. In addition to that, even though HP isn't exactly tied to the sheer force mechanic as it's more due to Yuzuha's core passive that they are linked together, it would still be fair to believe there will possibly be an ability that increases the max HP of allies, which then leads to even more sheer force being accumulated and for Yuzuha in specific to deal significantly more damage. Then on top of those abilities, there should be the usual we can expect from a premium support, such as increasing the damage dealt from allies, possibly a bonus for either crit rate or crit damage, and perhaps this time round for an ability to provide more sustainability, especially since Yuzuha's kit doesn't provide any and so leaves Astra as the only premium support that can provide additional sustainability. Of course, alongside all of that, Lucia would be expected to have quite low field time, just so most damage dealers will be able to synergize quite well regardless of their playstyle. So all in all, Lucia is going to be a fantastic support designed for Rupture damage dealers such as Yuzuha, Yidhari, and Minato. However, similar to Yuzuha, she should still be able to synergize with others due to potential abilities such as increasing damage and sustainability, leading to having great versatility as there would be possible synergies with either anomaly characters or attackers. That said, of course certain supports would be better for certain compositions, such as Yuzuha for most anomaly compositions compositions. But Lucia's overall utility would allow her to be a great replacement and can provide more value than most alternatives aside from Astra. So ultimately, Lucia is one of the most valuable characters in the game due to her versatility and the amount of utility she holds within her kit, which makes her an amazing character to definitely consider for your account. Next up is going to be Yidhari in the second phase, which as mentioned has been confirmed to be a Rupture Ice DPS. Now as our second premium Rupture DPS after Yizhuan, it would be fair to have high expectations for her DPS potential and her performance on field. But I wouldn't say she would be as powerful due to reasons such as she doesn't have a unique element like our current strongest damage dealers. Also, Yizhuan technically did release as our anniversary character, and so it would be reasonable for Yizhuan to remain as the strongest Rupture DPS. But again, Yidhari should still be an incredible DPS and likely will follow in the footsteps of Yizhuan. With that said, and considering there is a chance Lucia will be increasing max HP for allies, it would make sense that Yidhari will be a HP scaler alongside Yizhuan so that both characters will majorly benefit from the bonus Lucia would provide. In addition to that, opposed to Yizhuan being more of a combo damage dealer with quite lengthy rotations, it might be fair to expect for Yidhari on the other hand to have a much more simple playstyle and perhaps will deal a lot of her damage through a few abilities, which means she could end up as a burst damage dealer capable of dropping nukes on enemies similar to Hugo. Now with that being said, shot in the dark, but it could lead to possible synergies where Yidhari could be utilized as a secondary damage dealer. That is, if she does mainly deal damage through a few abilities, and so ultimately might turn out to be very similar to Yanagi, which is someone that can be utilized as either a main damage dealer or sub DPS. Although at the very least, when considering she is going to be releasing as the next premium Rupture DPS following Yizhuan, alongside having to compete with other ice damage dealers such as Miyabi, Hugo and Ellen, it would be a must for Yidhari's damage output to be pretty high in order to hold value as a DPS with her role and attribute. So then regarding her team versatility, for a Rupture DPS, Yidhari should be quite versatile as there are currently a few characters that can provide extremely valuable ice damage buffs. Though it goes without saying the best composition will include Lucia as the support, since she is pretty much going to be tailor-made for Rupture DPS characters and will have an immense amount of utility within her kit. So then alongside those two, you would have Lyta as a fantastic stun option that can provide a massive ice damage bonus and reduce ice resistance on enemies, whilst also increasing the stun duration and dealing a decent amount of damage through his simple playstyle. Alternatively, there would be Lycan as a standard S-rank stun character that can also reduce ice resistance on enemies by 25%, but alongside that will increase the stun damage multiplier by 35%, and just like Lyta, would be able to inflict lots of days without much effort. So especially since he is a standard S rank that many players likely have by now if you have been playing for some time, it means it would be a bit easier to build a solid composition for Yidhari if you do choose to pick her up. Aside from those two dedicated ice stun characters, there would be other great options such as Trigger and Jufufu as off-field stun options, and perhaps Pan Yin-Hu to form a double support composition. Lastly, as I did mention, with the possibility that Yidhari dealing burst damage could allow her to become a secondary damage dealer, I wouldn't say to exactly bank on it happening, but a composition consisting of Yizhuan, Yidhari and Lucia may be quite interesting to see, which of course would reduce the amount of damage dealt by either Yizhuan or Yidhari, as they would be missing a stun character enabling them to deal more damage. But two insane damage dealers alongside Lucia should certainly deal more than enough DPS. Also, with that said, there is a chance Minato could be a solid choice instead of Yizhuan, but of course that would depend on his playstyle and his field time requirements. So even though it might be a bit early to conclude exactly how versatile Yidhari will be and the characters she will synergize with, at this point it's fair to say that she will have great versatility for a Rupture character purely based off her role as a DPS and the ice attribute. Overall, version 2.3 is going to be one stacked update featuring not only 2 new rupture damage dealers, but also a dedicated rupture support that will have incredible utility to likely synergize with many damage dealers including anomaly characters and attackers. So with that said, and similar to both Astra and Yuzuha, Lucia is going to be one of the few characters in the game that would be considered as more of a must pull than others, since alongside the incredible versatility she will have amazing longevity and would definitely be worth the polychromes you invest. Though with that being said, considering Astra is also an ether support herself and can synergize with pretty much any DPS, it does mean those that do have Astra would be able to still get away with using her instead of pulling for Lucia. But of course, if you are intending to maximize the damage dealt from rupture characters, then Lucia would certainly be better to utilize. Additionally, with the fact I assume quite a lot of players did pick up Yuzuha since she was the anniversary character and did release as the most unique damage dealer in the game, it then means her dedicated support should be a character most players will need to keep an eye on and ensure they do have enough for when version 2.3 does come around. With Yidhari on the other hand, it's clear to see that she wouldn't hold as much value when considering there's multiple incredible ice damage dealers already, and with Yuzuha still being an insane rupture DPS, which essentially means those that do already have characters such as Miyabi and Yuzuha wouldn't gain much value with picking up Yidhari, unless of course there is a niche role for her to play as a secondary damage dealer alongside Yuzuha. However, she will still be a fantastic damage dealer overall and likely will be one of the big hitters when considering the rupture role straight up allows her to ignore defense on enemies, which allows her to especially be great for more recent players without many DPS characters. Though for the most part between the 2.3 banners you do want to prioritize Lucia, considering she is simply a premium support, and even more so if you do already have Yuzuha since they will undoubtedly synergize extremely well. Fortunately, the most valuable one between the two and the one players should prioritize is releasing first, which means if you do really want or need Yidhari, then you can choose to pick her up after securing Lucia. Finishing this up with if you should skip version 2.2 as a whole for version 2.3, and it is really quite simple, since as usual it will depend on your account and preference. In specific, if you do already have multiple attackers alongside perhaps both Trigger and Soldier Anby, then version 2.2 is going to hold immense value for your account, since Seed and Orphie will enable characters you do already have to deal even more damage and for dual attacker compositions to possibly be meta. On the other hand, version 2.3 is more focused on rupture damage dealers and essentially enabling them to deal more damage, with a dedicated support being amongst the selection. So really, it just boils down to whether you do enjoy attackers and the aftershock meta or rupture characters more. But it's fair to say rupture characters and specifically Yuzuha will edge ahead of attackers due to how insane the rupture effect is, which means long term it might be best to prioritize version 2.3 if you're looking for the best damage dealers, whereas version 2.2 might be better for those looking to gain more from the characters they already have, or if you simply enjoy the aftershock meta and attacker compositions more than anything else. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would really appreciate it if you could subscribe for more ZenlessZoneZero content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also, drop a comment down below on who exactly are you looking forward to the most amongst the upcoming banners. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.